What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the second live stream of the Dreadlabs Design Challenge. As you can probably hear from my mic, it's really noisy, and you can see it in the corner right there. It is way too hot right now in the Netherlands. I'm really sorry about that. It is, I think, over 32 degrees Celsius in here right now, and that's just outside. And here in my office on there, it's been like it has been for hours, like been in the sun, so it's really hot here. So although I'm really excited to start this live stream, I hope we can wrap it up like a little bit quickly, just because otherwise I'm just gonna faint right here on this stream, and I don't really want that. So yeah, if it's really annoying, let me know and I'll try to turn it down a little bit or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you're all doing well. What we're gonna do today is basically I want to show you my progress during the design live stream. Basically, maybe if I lower the mic and just get closer to it, it helps a little bit as well. So I just want to say a little bit more like what I've been making during this first design challenge. I want to show you my progress a little bit. If you've been checking my Instagram, you may have seen it already a little bit. But yeah, I'm just gonna load that up right now, and of course we're gonna give you guys feedback for your entries. See if you can just still change something. Let's take a look at it together and see if you need any help. So yeah, if people that have submitted their designs are in the chat right now, feel free to just respond to my feedback if you want to. And otherwise, what you can do is basically just watch the stream after and leave a comment, or just join us on Discord and talk there or something like that. So let me just change my view right here towards here. There we go. So yeah, what I've been doing is I've been basically like working on this this album cover base. The Oni mask that he's wearing right here is basically the main takeaway from the box. So I strayed away from like the resin underwater box, just because I felt like it's gonna be way too expensive to produce. Like I know it's not gonna be produced, but I just want to make it a little bit realistic at least. So let me just render this and show you what it looks like. Basically, I just use the mask as a base of like this, like kind of like a jewel case, as you can see right here. And basically the box opens. I can actually just play the image, the animation, as you can see. And once it opens, what's in there? It's basically just show you this way, it's easier. The LP of Joji's In Tongues, and if we get rid of the vinyl for a second, so in here there's still like two 3D models that I made really quickly of a folded t-shirt, because I couldn't find one for free. So I just modeled this like folded t-shirt, which is like, it's kind of shitty to be honest, but I just wanted to make it like so that I can display the t-shirt designs. And then I've also been working on the back of the vinyl, because as far as I've seen, like there's only been a release of this vinyl with the blue underwater cover, and I figured let's do one with like the remixes in there as well. So yeah, I'm not really sure about this yet. This is kind of like where I stopped. But that's a really cool idea. Like as the second slide, as you can see, the actual EP just fits on like a one one vinyl side, which is, in my opinion, I like that, just having to not rotate the vinyl and listen to the whole album at once. And then the second LP will contain all of the remixes, because these are over 22 minutes together, and you can only fit up to 22 minutes of song length on an LP side. So I figured what to do with the second side. Should we do like 4 songs on each side? But we can also do something different here, I thought, because as you can see under side 2 here, there's basically the blossom tattoo that Joji uses. But if we check out Boards of Canada, so this is an LP that I own from Boards of Canada, and I'm not sure if you can actually see this or not, but they basically have a full song which is complete silence on this album. The last song is basically like silence, and they only carved in like this silhouette, and the rest of this is like completely smooth. So I figured let's do something similar with the flower here. So that's where I've been stuck. I guess stuck, not really stuck. I know what to do and where to go from here. But yeah, if anyone has any feedback for my entry, of course, that's also completely welcome. I'm not gonna like give the prize to myself because I have I have access to my own assets, and I of course want to motivate you guys to create something. Yeah, that's basically what I've been working on. Something that I'm kind of like thinking about was like maybe I can also like do the chain helix in this like flower pattern in some way, but I might just be going to overdo the flower pattern because I've also, if you remember from the first stream, made this like chain, and I also want to put the chain in the box as well. So basically, if you buy the anniversary box, you get the box, an LP, 2 t-shirts, and this necklace. And I haven't really been going back into the t-shirts that much, to be honest. Like I kind of like this one, but the one with the t-shirt I think I'm still gonna fix, but that's something for later. For now I'm like fairly happy with it, and I think I'm gonna finish my entry up on like Saturday or something. But yeah, now let's dive into your designs. And Cardia, since you're in the chat, I think I'm gonna start with yours. So if you want to join in on this challenge, by the way, what you can do is join the Discord, link is in the description down below, go to design briefings, and then you can see a thread per challenge. So this is the first challenge that goes to the messages here, and then over here we can basically see the full thread. And yeah, if more people stop in, I'll just do it from here on out, but since I've just seen Gradius commenting in the chat, let's dive into what he made. So the Rodeo 10th Anniversary Collection, the Legacy Edition for Travis Scott. So he actually made up tiers, which is cool. I think I like that you've given thought into like the way that this would be released. That's always nice. And with it comes a premium trading card, which is I think it's this one. Sick. So if I'm not mistaken, Travis Scott did once like release like an action figure or something based on it, or is it like just for an album cover? I'm not sure, but that's where this is like the inspiration is based around, I think, right? So you have a numbered card, 1 of 500, with an action figure art, red foil border, navy background, full album stats. So let's check out these stats real quick. Oh, it's cool that you did the research on this as well, and it also is coming up as well. That's sick. That's dope. I like how you've also put thought into like the actual zeitgeist of this. It could actually be released. Even thought of the pricing. Then the anniversary poster, heavy stock litho with the spot UV rodeo text. Let's see. It's over here. Even done a 3D mock-up, which is sick. Kind of adds to that like old school PlayStation feel with the 3D render, which is dope. And then we have action figure design, a navy bomber jacket with the flight set and rodeo chenille back embroidery, cream blue sky stripes, limited edition tag, interior cactus jack branding. Let's see what this looks. So I'm not 100% sure what you mean by where is it? The limited edition tag and the interior cactus jack branding, but I think that's because like you only have the mock-up of the back, which is cool, of course. Maybe you didn't find like the front of this mock-up, which makes sense. So what I would maybe do myself is move the text up towards the back, so you have that same feeling that like the classic bomber jackets have, where they were used to be like parts of members of clubs and stuff like that. They usually do the text at the top here, over the shoulders, because this isn't really at eye level. But other than that, I like the design. And then you did the vinyl, the marbled vinyl, which is sick. I really like the 3D typography in together with like the spikes. It gives off that rawness because I'm not really the biggest Travis Scott fan. I've listened to a fair amount of his songs, but I haven't really been following him for a couple of years at this point. But his shows usually kind of reminded me of like he wanted to do these punk, these hardcore like kind of shows, I guess, right? Like the way that he acts on stage. So that's really like I like how that's on brand with like the spikes and the more like darker style. So for this, this is also sick. Like the player. Let's see what this comes up with. Like the blue marble vinyl, hand numbered, 1,000 copies. Thorny Chrome Center label, anniversary remastered 10 years ago. New releases now created the universe. Really established for modern hip hop, psychedelic production, designer collaboration, action figure aesthetics, and immersive fan experiences. Dope. So the concept is super sick. It's I think I skipped over the player. Oh. Did I? Oh yeah, here, the Y2K retro device player. The PDA with navy shell trim. With a shell with a navy trim. Excuse, I can jump track this UI. So this is really sick, and it also, it's like concept-wise, it feels really cohesive. Like just getting like to that Y2K style. I think this kind of this just works. The only thing here is because this display, the PDAs, they have a limited they have a limited pixel amount. So usually these PDAs were like, let's say 200 pixels wide and 600 pixels high or something, and the design is just a little bit too high def to be on the screen, I feel like, or at least it looks that way. Of course, this could be produced in a more modern era, but still. Then other than this is dope. I like how you didn't conform to like the usual like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon compositions, which is dope. Typography wise, I think like the rodeo title is dope. I prefer the gray or the metal one, this one the most actually. So I think, my personal opinion, I would like it to have that consistency all over the other designs. Also for the jacket, I think. And maybe like, I feel like the typography, it could be a little bit more interesting in some way, shape or form. The colorways are dope though. I like the almost illustrated vibe that the action figure gives off. Yeah. If you need any other feedback, let me know. But that's something that I just seen by looking at it. And let's start from the beginning. And we have another very sick entry by Mike, also known as Blackbeard Doom. And he made one for the 25th anniversary of Gorillaz. So the box includes a Gorillaz 2001 debut album CD, a 25th anniversary art book, because if you know Gorillaz, they do all of their arts made by Jimmy Hewlett, if I pronounce the name correctly. And this is basically just full of the art for Gorillaz that he did. A plastic UV, and I think in the next slide I already saw, but we're gonna see what that looks like. And a head sticker pack, air freshener, and the Jeep CD player. And the Jeep CD player is like the thing that why I've been so excited about this entry. So the CD contains interviews, sound effects, and behind the scenes. Also, like, this is one of those entries that like really dove into that, like the concept and the whole selling this to the audience, and not just like making the design. So that's really dope. The sticker pack for the heads for all of the Gorillaz members, if that makes sense, and the back of the buggy, which is actually really cool, because if the car freshener's in your car, you can see the back of the car rather than the front, which is like a nice touch. Then the art book, some concept art, which is dope. And then the UVT concept of that is really cool as well. So in the sun, the blue turns white, and in the dark, the white turns blue, as you can see. It's also really cool. So basically, like if you go in the dark, the shirt colors itself. If that makes sense. And then we have the Jeep layer, which is basically so if you don't know, like the Jeep, they used it in their album, but it's also something they even made flash games of this. So it's been like kind of like a thing in the Gorillaz universe, if I'm not mistaken. And Mike decided to turn that into a CD player that contains CD jewel cases. So there's actually like he even thought of like the connection ports on there, like RCA, VGA, aux, and USB. So basically this thing is like a modern CD player, which is really cool. And the tray goes right inside of the Jeep. I think it also had an animation, yeah. Super cool. Alright, so feedback wise, like I do really like the way that this is presented. It really gives off that like as if this would have been made in 2001, if that makes sense. Like the low poly model, PS1 kind of vibe, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, just the way of concepting these things, the nice little touch about thinking of like the back of the car freshener. So one thing that I would probably like try to improve or to work on or to look into if I would have been pitching this myself is so based on the logo of Gorillaz and like their art style, I feel like the presentation of that's actually the only thing that I would have feedback on in this case. Like I like the t-shirt, it works. The thing that adds to it is that it's not just a t-shirt. So concept wise, this is basically just good to go and ready to be pitched. The only thing that I probably would change is the way that it is presented. It's kind of like, it feels a little bit empty because of the white backgrounds and the black text. So what I would do in this case is I think just go and see if I can find some inspiration of editorial design that's kind of like in the same style as Gorillaz, or maybe like in a more forgiving doodly or drawing art style rather than like a slick modern presentation thing. And I think that's a difficult thing to achieve because, to be honest, like you gotta showcase. He also showcases the box and like everything in 3D, which makes it even harder to just like make a 3D render in that style as well. So I think that's basically the only thing that I would improve on. Maybe it also would work already if like the table keeps being white and then the floor becomes like the pattern of the box, or maybe like the dirt road that the Jeep is driving on in the Flash game or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to do that. But if we look at this, like I think I would try to take away as much art from JB Hewlett as possible and see if I can implement that way somehow in the presentation of the pitch. Basically, that's the only thing. Sick design. And we have ink, and ink it has a limited unearthed saved in a tuxedo shirt for choking victim. So gonna be completely honest, I don't know this I think it's a band, and I don't know them, so that's my my fault, I guess. Should quickly make mention that the lead singer of the band STZA can go screw himself for his abysmal and atrocious behavior. Okay, and also that advertisement in limited edition merch runs anti-ethical to what the band has preached and would practice. Okay, I have no idea what that is about, but this is a print ad for a hypothetical unearthed t-shirt from a merch line that was scrapped for untold reasons, but after 26 years some boxes were found stashed away at the C Squad. In typical aging punk rock band fashion, the surviving band members bundled them together with unsold vinyls for a quick cash grab. The designs feature Satan himself, our glorious former president, in monochromatic screen on Shop Liberated Music. Love this. medium soft gilded teeth. Due to the no gods, no manager ethos of the album, the eyes are found to be crossed out. To maintain some false level of punk credibility, the band decided to promote through little known punk rock scene and an advertisement grid amongst other band merchandise available. So, also of note that I can design merch worth a damn. I wanted to get at least something designed so I could say I made an attempt. Well, to be completely fair, Inc., the cool thing about these challenges is that it's more about testing your creativity and keeping your thinking about like concepting and your creative thinking up rather than making a design that looks dope. I mean, like that we're all here to learn and to become better designers, of course, but the fun part about this is that I'm also gonna check out this band like right after this, I think. But the learning to creatively think and also to like present your ideas if it was an actual client or something. And what I really like is that you also added some really interesting copywriting to this. So let's take a look at the design itself. A former president looking like the Joker, almost with the teeth. So wear an Earth t-shirt, purchase never before seen Satan in a tuxedo t-shirt. Get a free no gods no managers finals, stocks fast. So yeah, this is sick. This is actually really cool. This really I'm gonna presume that it's a punk band, based on the copywriting and the design aesthetic, and I think that just really fits in well with what you're trying to do here. And it's kind of hard for me, so I'm just gonna see if I could just open up a Google window and see if I can find some aesthetics from them. Okay, so this is their vinyl, and this is their logo, which this is kind of like on par with what Ink has been delivering. Because I was thinking about like maybe I would like make a more punk style typography in here, but this makes sense if that's their logo. Of course, that's not up to Ink to change. So yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where you have to well, in Dutch we say row with the peddlers that you have. But yeah, it looks sick. I think the fitting of the t-shirt is also something that would probably be liked by a punk rock fan. I would, however, maybe slightly texture the background a little bit more, so to make it match with like the bodies and the skeletons around like the frame, I guess. Because I like the way that it looks. It looks really like lo-fi cut out almost, and I think that really fits in well with the design, which is really cool. Also really punk. Also fits in well with the vinyl. I don't really have too much to say to this other than well, it's actually, that's the cool part about this. Like, I was like, what makes it like special that this would be like an anniversary thing on their first album, and then it's that's the cool part about like Ink making up this story about like 20 years later they find some boxes stashed away, which is really cool. So yeah, other than that, I might add some extra elements into the t-shirt, or maybe on the back or on the sleeves, to make it more in line with the cover of No Gods, No Managers. Maybe like the skulls or something like that, you know? Can never have too many skulls and skeletons and stuff like that. Or maybe like have the stars of through his eyes, maybe like do this with the pentagram. Or that's another, is it a pentagram? Yeah, it's a pentagram, I think, right? And like put this like inverted, so it's like the outlines are black and the negative spaces are white, and then just put it over there. Maybe that works. But yeah, still could be dope. And then we already did Gradius, and then this is the final one. So we have only like 4 people entering, which for the people entering is good because that the more chance they have at winning store credit. And yeah, of course we just started, so I hope that more people will join in the future. But sorry, we're gonna check out this one by Shemzai. Made one for Slipknot. I wanted to pay homage to their original mask designs, but not in a way that was just nostalgic, but cementing them as legends. So I decided to go with a chrome look. Well, that's a good design decision. Good to share that as well if you're pitching this, of course. Most of their merch design heavily focuses on grunge and texture, so having a chrome set would make it stand out. And I used the grunge as a secondary accent, which didn't stray too far away from the band's branding. So I've seen Slipknot live once at a festival, which is really cool. Only like 2 years ago, so I'm not really too familiar with their work. I do like that you added grunge to the sweater here, especially since it's a white sweater, which is maybe something that they wouldn't initially wear. The metallic chrome like CD cover is really nice. And then you have the masks. These are on the sweater. This is on the back, I think. Yeah, and this is on the front, which is really cool. So these are their original masks, which is cool to pay an homage to, and then yeah, with the chrome layer as well. So what I would do, I think, because this just print-wise, like this is okay, I think, but I would turn the grunge into like a dark wash. So and a way that you can achieve this, I'm going to show you this really quickly. Let me just open up my crew neck mockup and show you how to create like this fake wash effect, I guess. My computer's freezing. Can we go to crew neck? I'm not sure what's going to be on here. Yeah, okay, this is okay. So in my thing, you can just like change the color here and there. But let's say you have a black mockup, and you have the highlights and shadows like layered over. What I would do now is like go to filter, and then make sure to press D on your keyboard to make this black and white. Go to filter, render, and then clouds, and then this is of course really heavy, but of course you can just lower the opacity a little bit, and as you can see, you now have like that kind of like this like fake stone wash effect, I guess. And if you wanna, you can actually just with tie-dye you can change this. They like acid wash, yeah, exactly. And you can actually change the texture by just basically scaling this really far in one direction. For example, this. Of course you wouldn't do it differently, but just to give you an idea on the difference, let's make it a little bit more visible, and maybe like we'll make it a little bit darker so it's less apparent. But yeah, like something like this, I think, to simulate it a little bit better, because here it looks like the grunge would be printed on, and I don't think that's an option, especially not on like the hems here and the hem here in the bottom and the cuffs. Do you know about Suno, like the AI music thing? I do. What about it? But yeah, going back to Shemzai for a while, this is just really sick. I like how, I think this is also something that the band would really appreciate as well, and the fans of the band would really appreciate, especially like the OG fans. I'm gonna assume that this is Corey's mask just because it's bigger. And one thing I will maybe do is put the text at the top, or maybe just remove it at all here and just leave it at that, because I feel like it's always like a little bit awkward. That's my personal taste, by the way, but to have like this, how'd you call this? To have like this, the text like really low on the body on a t-shirt, especially if it's like a title or a logo. But if it's like a graphic that's like all over the place, then I would say go for it. But in this case I would either put it at the top in the middle or just like leave it. And I would actually be interested to see like what a let me just see if I can just make it really quickly just to give you an idea what it would look like if you would just inverse this. And then I'm gonna make a selection based on like the blue, I think. Select color range. This is just to like really quickly see what this would look like, but and then just remove this. So you have like an actual black grungy t-shirt, if that makes sense, for the people who wouldn't wear like a white t-shirt. Maybe like if the fans evolve and they're okay with it, it wouldn't be like that, of course. But and then what you can also do is just drop in like a levels just to increase that contrast. So find that sweet spot where you can still see that it's chrome, but it's like only in like a blue screen or a white screen print or something like that. I think this would be dope as well. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on this. But yeah, it's sick, and I like the CD with it as well. Fits the aesthetic really nicely. And other than that, I would maybe like think of like a way to display this or something. I like the grunge background. Maybe I would turn it red as well, like just black and red, to fit it in with. I think the yellowish greenish like natural color makes the whole design kind of like fall out of place. Makes it just seem like a random background. I'm thinking of commercializing instrumental songs by Suno AI with my prompt. I think that this is a good idea. So what I've been a music producer, so I tend to like check out some other music YouTubers, and from what I've seen, so I think you would like put it on Spotify for people to use in the background of their videos and streams and stuff like that, right? That's what you're talking about. Because if that's so, so one thing is like I'm kind of like against that, because it makes the pool of artists that make money with Spotify smaller, in terms of you know, like the people who like work really hard to get their music out there. They already don't really get paid that much by Spotify to begin with, and adding more saturation to this market makes it even lower. But other than that, like what you can try, I guess, if you want to, is I would probably try and also by the way, Spotify, the way that this works is also that you're not gonna really make that much money with it to begin with, and I also think that a lot of people are already doing it on Spotify. So the way that I would try to do it, if you really want to make a business out of this, is I would try to just sell the songs in like packs or something, like just sell like, I don't know, like 50 AI generated lo-fi beats that people can use copyright free in their streams or something like that, or just sell them by the song on like a custom website where you don't have to take, because if you're doing it on streaming services and stuff like that, stuff like Gumroad basically, because people will otherwise this way basically, like the only one taking a piece is Gumroad, and you probably maybe have to pay Suno if you're having like a premium membership. But yeah, in streaming there's just not that much money to make, and I would try to create your own market with this and just approach companies or streamers and just have them like invest in there or something. I think that's the way to go. Anyways, so yeah, that's all the feedback that I want to give for now. I know there's actually like a feedback stream archive, stuff that I haven't really reviewed. And I do want to go back to this at some point, but for now it's just way too hot. So maybe if we go down later in the year and it's getting colder here again, I'm definitely going to be more active in my office space here. But I think that will be like after September, because for now the next challenge that we're going to do is I'm going to join in on, and then in September I will be away for a couple of weeks in France, actually taking a little break, and that means that I won't be able to stream. But yeah, anyways, that's basically it for today. So if you want to join in on the design challenge, there's a link in the description down below. You can basically just go to dreadlabs.net/briefings. I think, yeah, dreadlabs.net/briefings, and you will just see what the next briefing is. The next briefing is going to be about Gundam. So if you don't know what Gundam is basically a mech franchise with all these cool robots. They basically they have an animated series. They also sell these plastic model kits. I've been a huge fan of them, and it's a really interesting thing. But I think a lot of this hasn't really made it to the West. If you compare this to other Japanese franchises like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, these were huge in my childhood, and with Gundam I kind of like had to figure it out on my own. And it's like, let me just show you on the screen right now. It's really cool. So the next assignment, let me just go to dreadlabs.net/briefings. And this will give you an overview of all of them. There's also a couple of future ones already online if you want to, but let's click on the number 2, which is Bring Gundam to the West. So Japanese mech-based media franchise Gundam wants to become more well known in the West, and that's asking for your advice. They do want to collaborate with an interesting Western brand. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Western brand, but just something to make it more applicable in the West. Like, for example, if they would do a collaboration with Coca-Cola or something, you know, they would get more recognition, I guess. It can be a clothing collaboration to give you an idea, but it can be done with any brand. So it can be like a soda drink, like I said, clothing, whatever you want. So your job is to think about like with whom should Gundam collab and what it is that they should release. Show us your concept art and bonus points if you do a short case study, of course. And you can use the MechScans free pack for this if you'd like. So it's a little bit hard to see. I still need to fix this part of the website, but yeah, the deadline is August 31st, and the MechScans free pack, if you want to, you can actually use this. So this is a free download pack. I've basically scanned in a bunch of assets from like the plastic kits that I've built over the years. So let me just show you what's inside of that pack. Basically, you can just click on here and it'll download for free. To keep in mind that this is, however, non-commercial, so you cannot use this in commercial projects. Anyways, it contains a ton of like these blueprints and other like cool cutouts that you can use. And then we also got like illustrations. And these are also some of the box arts. As you can see, this is one of the vintage ones that I bought myself in Japan. And finally, we also have some photos like of the cutout models. And as you can see, they are actually scanned in, so you get a cool like print effect on them as well. I think most of those are like some weird halftone or something. I'm not sure how these little booklets get printed, but if you want to, you don't have to use these, but this gives you like a lot of stuff to work with if you want to start out. I already kind of have an idea on what I want to do with this. And I've been thinking about like doing all kinds of brands, and if you want to scroll back in the Discord, Mike also mentioned something about like KFC doing something with Gundam. So let's jump to that. As you can see right here, and this was in Japan, but you get like a KFC collaboration. They have a PlayStation even, and some skateboards. But just to get here, this is a Supreme collab even, which is pretty cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically make a Pokemon card with Gundam. I'm not sure if that's been done already, but I figured Pokemon has been so big lately here in the West, you know, with like the just everyone's basically getting addicted to it. So I figured like these are two Japanese companies, only makes sense if they work together and do something to make their stuff more well known in the West, I guess. But yeah, that's it for today's stream. I'm sorry about it being that short, but it's just way too hot to be in here right now. So my apologies. I hope next week it will be a little bit more tolerable, so I don't have to be here with a fan right behind me and still like almost fainting of the heat. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning in or watching this later. And if you want to join in some creative challenges and also win some dope assets that you want to get in the process, then be sure to join us on Discord and join in on the next design challenge. And I will announce the winner of this challenge this Sunday, I think, or this Monday, next Monday. So you still have some time to join in on the challenge and drop your designs if you want. So with all of that being said, thank you so much for tuning in from this short live stream, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.